today with Marissa Moon. I'm going to be talking about vampires.
And I've been waiting for this. I just want to say the
Go on.
last video, the very first video that I was on, I was telling my vampire story of when I first got Moldavite, and Tim did not believe me. Like, if you haven't watched that yet, you really need to watch that one first and then watch this one, because you will see that Tim did not believe me when I was talking about vampires.
It wasn't that I didn't believe you.
No, it was that he didn't believe me.
I believe you believed it, but I wasn't 100%
Exactly.
myself.
He believed that I believed it, but you could tell he was looking at me like, this girl is crazy. And I can tell because I'm really in tune, so I know how people feel or think, like, about me or about a certain subject. No, but for real. And then I was just like, all right, you'll see. Like, you'll see. And I knew it. And then now we're here where Tim, you're literally witnessing Tim fully not only believe it, but be able to sense it and know himself. So
Yeah, I think I do.
You definitely believe it.
Well, we'll tell the story of what's basically happened. So, not long after that discussion, I was really curious about this whole vampire thing.
Yeah.
Go and watch the first video if you want to know more about that. But basically, Marissa saw a vampire once.
Yeah.
But she obviously looks human, but she sensed that she was a vampire.
Yes.
And so I was curious about this. And not long after that, it was only like a week or two after.
No, it was not a week or two after. It was way too soon. It was probably like because we joked about it a lot.
All right, longer than that then. Maybe a month or so after that. I was having this experience. I actually...
We came to the realization a month after, but you were having an experience for...
Yeah, for a little while. But I didn't think it was a vampire experience. I thought something was going on with this girl who I basically kept seeing her everywhere. And usually when I see someone a lot, I believe it's the universe trying to bring us together for some reason. There's some sort of message there, or maybe she'll end up a friend or whatever. So I went up to this person, and when I saw her one of these times, I was seeing her like constantly, everywhere.
Like at this point, you guys knew of each other because you would both see each other.
We knew of each other because it was obvious we kept seeing each other everywhere, but we never spoken. So I saw her in a restaurant, went over and said hello, and I was struck by how standoffish she was. Like she didn't want to talk to me. I sensed it straight away. She almost pulled back. I've actually did that, like physically pulled back a little bit, and I could see she just felt a bit awkward. So I didn't make the conversation too long, and I just like a quick hello and what's your name, etc. But I didn't want to go any further than that, so left it because she just seemed like she didn't want to go any further with it. But after that, I still kept seeing her all the time, and literally she'd be walking down the street, I'll be coming the other way, we'd pass each other, and I would give her little smiles to, as if to say again. And she would give like a really awkward hello back, and like really awkward, no sense of all this joking along with me, and it kept happening. It happened 3 or 4 times after that, and then there was another time I saw her coming again from the distance. I was like, okay, this is going to happen again. This is really awkward, and she clearly doesn't like this. Like, there's just something off about this whole situation. But I said to myself, I think she's going to cross the road because she doesn't want to go through this again, and she did.
At that moment, as he was thinking it, Tim was telling me the story, and I had to interrupt him, and I'm like, do you realize that you were intuitively receiving the message that she was thinking of crossing a road, and then it happened because she was probably thinking about it, and then he received it. So don't disempower yourself if you're thinking about something. Like, it's probably a message from your guides. But go ahead. Or you're connecting to someone else's thoughts. But go ahead.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that at all, and then she explained it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. Because I've been growing in intuition a lot since coming out here and having more contact with Moldavite, including these couple of pieces here. This actually happened before I got these 2 latest ones, which are particularly strong. But not long after I got this, I noticed my intuition really starting to kick in more and more and more. And I think this is like the culmination of it really showing me that my intuition is kicking in. But anyway, I didn't at that point think she was a vampire. It didn't cross my mind at all. And then I started telling Marissa this story about this girl, and it turned out that we both know
who she is.
who she is, exactly. And you'd spent some time with her as well.
So I know her from a different person who introduced me, and at the time she wanted to do an energy exchange because we both did energy healing. And then we're just like, yeah, we'll book it. It's fine. We'll come up with some time. And then at that time, I had just first arrived to Bali, so I was releasing a lot. Like, you can probably sense that I was releasing, like, I was in just a low vibration, constantly releasing. I was probably only in Bali for like 2 weeks at that point. And so then I came back because I had to renew my visa, and I was feeling better, and I reached out like, oh, if you want to. And I was at this point like on a higher vibration, and she didn't respond, and I was like, that's okay, it's not meant to be, whatever. And there was another time where I was hanging out with a friend. Actually, you were there. We were all with friends meeting up to get lunch, and I walked in with me and a friend first, and I saw her sitting outside, and she was I said, hi, like, how are you? We're gonna go eat with friends if you want to join us. She said, oh no, I'm sick, I don't want to be around people. And this all started, I started realizing it at this time we were talking about it. She's like, I don't want to be around people because I'm sick, and I'm just, etc., etc. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. And I was about to hug her, like, when I said hi, but she was just like, no, like, no. And then we went inside, and we all met up, and we're eating, and then Tim came in, and that's when we, like, first started hanging out, and we all, like, had lunch or whatever. And then when we were leaving, I noticed she was sitting with someone, and I just had this thought, like, oh, that's strange. I thought she was sick, but, like, whatever, I don't care. And then we just went on with our day. And as we started realizing this, I'm like, what's interesting is that I had my Moldavite, and, like, she didn't, and I was at such a higher vibration, and she didn't want to hug or have contact, but then she was sitting with someone else. And then I think I had seen her a few times or something, and I realized, like, Tim, every single time she had seen her, he always carries his Moldavite piece around. Like me, I just carry it sometimes, and I do carry my ring around too with me all times. So I don't even know how we came to this, but we just had this kind of like we both kind of looked at each other at the same time, and we're like, what if she's a vampire? And at this point, you could tell Tim was like, his wheel was clicking, and he's just like, holy shit, I believe this. And I was like, I believe it too. Yeah. And it just made sense. And I even reached out to a few people and who are super intuitive just to confirm. And it was really goofy, but, like, they all confirmed it, like, just from sensing it. And yeah, I think I don't know. I don't want to, like, say that every single person, like, is if someone's in a low vibration, they're a vampire. Like, that's not what it is. It's not like that. And I don't want it to be used as, like, a way to bully people. It's just, like, really, like, intuitively, if you feel like something's just not right there, something strange, like, you just get this feeling, like, just pay attention. It might not even be a vampire. It could just be like there's just something not right there, And for some reason the word vampire was coming to us the same way in the first video when I looked at this lady. I just got the word vampire, and I was like, I don't know why, but I'm getting this. And we don't even really know much about vampires, to be honest, except that they do drain, like, your energy. They feed off of energy. It's more
energetic vampires, but not energetic vampires in the common sense that people talk about.
It's not like a low vibration person who's gonna feed off of your energy. That's just like a person, who doesn't really know yet. This is actually a vampire who is feeding off of your energy, and
there's actually another being.
Yeah. This is what we've come to feel into, which is funny because, again, Tim didn't believe this, and now he really does because he feels it. And, like, again, I don't really understand it. but I just feel it. So,
and as I say, it's been confirmed by people who know more than us about it, who we trust, that this is the case, that these energetic vampires do exist, but it's nothing to be scared of. That's the key thing, that
it's nothing to be afraid of, because if you're able to sense them, then you are probably at a higher vibration, which means like you're protected, you know? That's why these people keep on shying away. Like when I met the girl at the cafe, or when I saw her, she knew I was staring at her, and she knew that I knew. And then same thing with Tim, like there was this kind of going away because like they know, you know. And also
we've got the Moldavite
is gonna like really, really help you, because you're automatically at a high vibration with Moldavite, that like you're protected from anything. And that's why there's such a purge and release that happens with Moldavite, because you're going into higher frequencies with it.
And since this, there was a period where I didn't see her for a while, actually, this vampire. And then I saw her, and she was walking, and she couldn't cross the road. She didn't have time to cross over the road to get away from me. And she wouldn't even look at me. She like eyes down. She knew I was there, obviously. Eyes down, went straight past me, nothing. And so, you know, it's like there's a clear reason she's avoiding me, and I can't think of any other reason why, but it has to be to do with Moldavite. I think she's trying to stay away from that high vibration.
I mean, you carry 2 pieces on you.
Yeah, I carry a lot on me. And they're strong. So I think that's what it is. But we wanted to do the video, I just think it's an interesting talking point. And really go on.
With Moldavite, you're able to, you start getting in tune to start to acknowledge different things. It's like you're seeing the truths, like you talk about. I had this conversation with a girl who basically touched my Moldavite, and she said afterwards, I feel like I can see the truth. It's like, even she looked at me and she said, I seem friendlier for some reason. It's like I can see the truth, or it amplifies which is what it does. It magnifies and amplifies your own energy. So if you are a friendly person, it makes you seem even more friendlier to people. And it's the truth being brought out. The truth can't hide, really, when you start working with Moldavite, and your intuition grows, and you can read people much easier, and you can tell almost when they're lying, or they're fearful, or you can really feel it a lot more. So that's why we were able to feel this vampire thing, I feel like. And other things too, like other intuition things, which we discuss in other videos.
We'll leave it at that. It's interesting. We'll come back and do this again, maybe, if we come across any more vampires. But thank you for coming along and talking about this. Do you want to leave your details so they can get in touch with you?
Yes, you can go to my website, soulguidedpodcast.com. I have information on Akashic Records readings. We didn't talk about that on this specific video, but I do talk about on Tim's other videos. You can go to my podcast, Soul Guided Podcast. Just search Soul Guided on literally anything, or you can listen to it on my website as well. And you can find me at Marissa Moon on Instagram. That's MARISSAAMOON. But of course, Tim's gonna leave all that information in the notes below.
Yes, and don't forget to comment and like and share this video if you enjoyed it. And subscribe to Timothy Phoenix. Timothy Phoenix, and my Instagram is timothy.phoenix. Come and follow me and check out what I'm doing here in Ubud in Bali. And till next time, we'll have some more Moldavite videos coming up for you, no doubt. Thank you for coming along, Marissa. And hasta luego.